Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phono with Dr. Adel Ghandour, international agricultural expert. Good afternoon, Dr. Ghandour.
Good afternoon for you and all your audience.
Thank you. Dr. Ghandour, what is the importance of investing in the agricultural sector at the present time?
Agriculture in general is very, very important for our economy and also to create labor or work for non-employees to work in this sector. The income coming from agriculture either for cash crops, high cash crops, and industrial crops that like fruit and vegetables to making processing or frozen for export, and for fresh fruit and vegetable for export. This is a very high cash crop. The return is very high, as well as it creates a lot of labor chances for the people to work in. And also to investment in agriculture is very important to reduce the gap in our food gap that we import up to now more than 70% of our actual need. So it is very important to increase our production in the old land and reclaim more land. This is to try to close this gap as possible.
Yes, so Dr. Ghandour, since President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi came to office, the agriculture file have witnessed a leap. So how do you see the importance of this and the President giving very good care to this file?
President Sisi do a very fantastic work. Now we have a project to cultivate 3 new million acres with a modern irrigation system, pivot system, and it is fully mechanized. Also, in the production, it introduced to cultivate 100,000 acres of greenhouses for high production, as well as he encouraged the food processing for all the crops, and also he encouraged the export and increased the infrastructure for logistics for export, and really it is a very good step for this nation to secure her future under a very unlikely condition by increasing population of Egypt.
Yes, so Dr. Ghandour, what are the most important projects in Toshka?
Actually, he create a very good project to cultivate 5 million date palm trees, half of them in Toshka, 2.5 million, and already it have been, they plant already 1,300,000 trees, and the private sector complete the other 200 and 500 million, another. And it is all from Ghandour type that is a very high cash crop for export, and it will increase our export income with about $2.5 billion.
Yes, Dr. Ghandour, what are the most important crops that Egypt that grows in Aswan?
In Aswan, I think also date palm, which is but for private. But actually, what we're talking about Toshka, it is supposed to be belong to near Abu Simbel and near Aswan, and they're to plant 2.5 million date palm, as well as growing wheat and sugar beet under pivots. For sugar beet, it is for processing, and wheat for bread, to reduce our importation from wheat from abroad, especially under the problem of the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Yes. Dr. Ghandour, what crops are growing also in Delta, and what are the new projects there in Delta?
Actually, in Delta, President Sisi are encouraging to to change the irrigation from flood irrigation in Delta to modern irrigation system, drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation and pipe irrigation, and they are doing very well. Also, most of the financial bank give the grower loan without interest and with to pay after 5 years. So it is a very encourageable step to encourage the grower or to enhance the change from flood irrigation to modern irrigation. This will secure water enough to cultivate in the desert at least 3.5 million acres.
Yes, Dr. Ghandour, how does the modern irrigation technology help saving the water?
It's actually by flood irrigation, the water you use it can cultivate at least 10 other acres. So we are make a lot of problems in the drainage canal because we use too much water because the water is free. So the people really didn't use it. But in the desert, we have to use it very wisely. So normally it will serve a lot of water, enough, as I mentioned before, to cultivate at least 3.4 million acres in the desert.
Yes, Dr. Ghandour, how did the canals lining contribute to serving the agricultural sector in Egypt?
Again, please?
Yes, how did the canals lining contribute to serving the agricultural sector?
Yes, this is what we're talking about, modification the irrigation in the delta. Ministry of Irrigation make the lining of the canal. This will reserve a lot of water that was going to the underground and create another problem for increasing the water table in the old land. And also it will make that we can control in irrigation. Up to now with the normal irrigation canal, the wide was very big, and for the Ministry of Irrigation, it was very difficult to control the equal distribution of water for all the growers. But now with this new canal, it's fantastic for sure.
Yes, Dr. Ghandour, what are the modern farming methods applied in new agricultural projects?
Actually, most of the new reclaimed land, they grow mostly high cash crops. So for field crops, they grow potato and peanuts and sugar beet. These are industrial crops. And actually, they grow a lot of fruit trees like the big palm, grape, citrus, and olive. Also, it is processing crop that produce oil, and also they produce also some oil crops like sunflower and some other crops.
Yes,
but this is the major crop.
Yes, Dr. Ghandour, how does self-sufficiency in crops contribute to development?
To what?
To development. Development.
Hmm?
Yes, to development. To development.
Development.
Development. The development.
Yes.
Development.
Actually,
yes.
As I told you, we have two types of crops.
Yes.
Some what we call it strategic crop, but practically it is orphan crop,
Yes.
like wheat, because
Yes.
normally it's grow under rain-fed area. But if it is irrigated, actually it is not too economical. Just to give you an example, is the price for rice before this crisis was $250 per ton. The maximum we can get per acre about 3 tons. That means 750.
Yes.
But if we grow some high cash crop like grape, we get about 7 tons. Each ton we can export it with about 1,200 euros. So it is about 10,000 euro per acre in front of 750.
Yes.
And for wheat, it is planted mechanically and harvested mechanically. Grape, it is planted. It needs a lot of hand labor, also for export and packing house. So it is actually a very good, profitable crop. And it's also the return from export is very high in compare with other crops.
Yes, so Dr. Ghandour, the Egyptian civilization is a civilization that depended on agriculture. So could you give us your insight concerning this? How do you evaluate nowadays the state's efforts to support this important file, putting Egypt on the right track? And what do we expect in the year future that would be the outcome of the national projects since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi came to office?
What you mentioned, that our earth from the pharaonic, we depend 100% on agriculture.
Yes.
But the main challenge made us now is the high population increase in population of Egypt. If you mention about pharaonic time, and also when the revolution started in 1952, our population was 19 million. Now, on Egypt land, now we have more than 120 20 million citizens.
Yes.
103 Egyptian, and now about 15 million from Sudan, Yemen, from Syria, from other countries. And
Yes.
now, actually, we get to a main problem is the water shortage by increasing population, not by our budget are affected. So we have to be serious, because the Egyptian civilization, it is created by we are going very fast towards the water scales, that we don't have water. And we have to think over to move towards the water in Africa, in the sub-Sahara area, to secure our food instead of waiting until the water we coming to zero. The water limit for a poor 10,000 cubic meter per citizen. Now it is 500, and it's coming down by increasing population, not by affected our share in the Nile water. So we have really to think it over.
Yes.
To keep the pharaonic civilization and the Egyptian civilization complete.
Yes, I thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Adel Ghandour, international agricultural expert. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a short break, and I'm going to be back with you.